Links Armizzare.
Hello, Simon Rainier, Links Armizzare out of now, Campbell River, British Columbia. I have moved. Family circumstances dictated this. I have passed the Kamloops branch of Links Armizzare onto my senior student, very good friend Jed. Congratulations, Jed, you're gonna rock it. I'm still gonna be taking active hand. A lot of my stuff is moving online. I'm looking into running some online lessons that are open to the public, so stay tuned for that. I'm also looking at new and exciting ways to do videos on our YouTube channel. So, ignoring all that for a moment, what I really want to talk about today is legs. Specifically, which leg should be positioned forward when you are sword fighting. Now, there's a couple of nuances and things that make it so it's not necessarily keep your right leg forward, keep your left leg forward. When you're using a longsword, for example, when Fiore shows his positions and guards, universally, whichever side of the body your sword is on, that's your rear leg. My right leg is here, my sword is on my right hand side. If I were to switch sides to in the guard, sword is on my left side, my right leg is forward. When we look at later even Italian longsword sources, Vadi, for example, this doesn't hold true. Vadi has a lot of positions that are sword on the same side as the body. Posta di donna, as per Fiore. Posta di donna, as per Vadi. Very, very different, although the purposes of the guards remain very similar. So, why? Why? To answer this question, we have to look at sort of our body mechanics. When the sword is over the side of the rear leg, we are in sort of a loose position, a position where we can very easily bring our entire body forward for attacks and defenses. It's comfortable, it feels natural, you can stand in that way a very, very long time without feeling basically any kind of strain. When we bring the other leg forward, suddenly we no longer have the same body alignment. I'm a big fan of body alignment. Shoulders, straight line, spine straight, hip straight. When we have this, the position of our shoulders and our hips now become twisted. As a stationary position, this is a bad thing. As a moving dynamic position, however, we can use it to our advantage. How I like to think of it is with a coiled spring. When I'm here, and in order to get steady ground, I'm standing on a log, so if I fall over, bear with me. If I'm here, there's a lot of power that's coiled and ready to use. I'm not in the most stable position. If someone were to come up and give me a shove, I would probably fall over, in a very dignified way, I'm sure. But from here, I can very easily snap out and get a lot of extra little oomph into my attack, my defense, whatever you need to do. So, that's something to consider. As we are at sort of our first engagement distance, that's when in Vadi we see these coiled positions. As we close in, his body positions tend to sort of open up and be in a more, shall we say, grounded and stabilized way of standing, as opposed to the coiled and ready to strike. When he does strike, he tends to be less twisted. So, something to consider with the longsword. At the very, very basic level, what I tell the new students is as per Fiore. Showing the guards, sword on the right side, right's your rear leg, sword on the left, left is your rear leg, and it makes it so that at the beginner levels, people are more comfortable, more stable, which is more important. As we become more advanced, we can kind of mix this up. We can use our instability to our advantage. With a single-handed sword, for example, a side sword, almost universally it's going to be opposite. If I'm standing with the sword in my right hand, as I'm going to do, Usually my right leg is going to be forward. This provides faster defense and quicker offense. The exception to that lies in if I want to have a really, really long reach. Again, you'll notice the theme. When we're outside of engagement range, or coming into that engagement range, our feet position tends to go a little wonky. As we enter into that engagement range, it tends to be sort of universally following these rules. As I'm here, as I'm attacking at this distance, I want my right leg forward because left leg forward robs me of a lot of mobility and a lot of reach. If I'm outside this engagement range, if I'm back farther, I can bring my off leg, my left leg forward and do a passing strike to kind of mess with the opponent's sense of measure. If we have an offhand weapon, rules change again. I'm not going to really talk about that right now. So, single-handed sword, usually right leg, right hand. If you're left-handed, obviously it's opposite. Two-handed sword, whatever the side of the body your sword is on, that's going to be your rear leg. There's one other little nuance, because I really do like this kind of twisted, coiled spring sort of stance. And that's really one of my absolute first choices for entering into engagement. When we're here, instead of bringing the other foot forward, all we're doing is twisting our hips. And you can't really see it, but my toe is going from straight line to turning out to help assist with that, bringing the shoulder forward, the off shoulder forward, twisting those hips and allowing for that coiled spring. You'll notice as well, I'm not really going to be holding my sword out. This collapses in the chest, and that's a really bad idea because it limits the oxygen you can take in and reduces your structure. As I'm coming here, sword comes down low towards the offs, or towards my lead hip, as this shoulder comes forward, and this hand can be behind, this hand can be in front, whatever, I'm not worried about that right now. So yeah, mostly good idea to start right leg, right-handed sword. If you want to get that coil power, twist starting from the foot to the hip to the shoulder, kind of like torque your whole body, get that nice sort of coiled spring. Very cool. When we do step with the other leg forward, what we're doing in that case is generally an offline step. If I'm stepping directly in, I'm collapsing my structure and I'm not in a good place. I'm reducing my distance. Whereas if I'm stepping, again, log, if I step offline with my opponent over here, I'm maintaining that structure. Technically this leg is forward, but is it really? Because if we're framing it against the opponent, we're kind of almost square to our opponent, just with hips rotated slightly. If we're stepping offline, technically the other leg is forward, but we haven't sacrificed our reach or our structure. This is still a very strong position to both attack and defend. So, home practice. Play with it. Figure out whether you're using a single-handed sword, play with that twisting, kind of see what attacks and defenses that can lead to. Two-handed sword, same thing. Play with it, see how it feels to use either foot forward, and kind of feel that coiled spring. You want to feel still stable, but coiled. It's a delicate balance. Yeah. Have fun with it. See you soon.